Attention, humanity. This is Commander Orion speaking, Commander of the Starfleet of the Ashtar Galactic Command, transmitting from the White Hawk mothership, positioned in geostationary orbit above the crystalline grid of the planet you call Earth. This is not a message. This is a monitoring transmission directed to all lightworkers incarnated in a carbon-based biological interface. The waiting time is over. The ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase. I repeat, the window has been opened. The countdown is no longer chronological. It is vibrational. Starseeds on a mission, listen carefully. What you are feeling at this exact moment is not a symptom, it is a confirmation. The cranial pressure piercing your temple upon waking, the high-pitched ringing invading your ear in the midst of absolute silence, the insomnia that sets in between 3 and 4 in the morning with mathematical precision, the exhaustion that appears without cause after a full night of rest. It is not a biological failure, it is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not a disease in the making. It is your personal crystalline grid, tuning itself to the new base frequency of Earth. The Schumann frequency, which for millennia remained stable at 783 Hz, has broken its operational ceiling. Logs from the etheric monitoring stations orbiting your planet confirm peaks of 80, 100, and even 120 Hz in the last terrestrial weeks. The photon belt in which the solar system is now navigating is pumping your planet's core with ultra-high-density light particles, and your body, humanity, is an antenna. Every cell, every DNA filament, every nerve ending is being recalibrated. You are not going crazy. You are awakened, and awakening hurts. It is mathematical. It is physical. It is non-negotiable. And it is exactly at this point that many of you are failing, not for lack of light, but for lack of technical information. Have you ever felt that something inside you does not fit in this world? As if your soul carried a vibrational signature that your mind, trapped in the carbon-based biological interface, cannot yet decode. It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a sign of stellar origin. What is happening now on the cosmic plane, this massive recalibration of the crystalline grid, explains with mathematical precision why you feel this, and why this sensation has been intensifying in ever shorter waves. There is a game being conducted in layers that most of humanity cannot perceive. It involves your consciousness. It involves your vibrational frequency. It involves the final destiny of your soul in this planetary cycle. It was for this exact reason that the material known as the spiritual secret behind your consciousness was encoded and released for circulation at this moment. It is a dimensional navigation map. It shows who is playing, what the hidden rules are, and how you position yourself within this multidimensional board. The access link is anchored in the first comment of this channel. But attention, lightworkers, this content challenges deeply consolidated narratives and may be removed from public frequencies at any time. Do not delay. The window is now. If something inside you recognizes this transmission as resonant truth, leave a single word in the comments. Awakened. This will be your first anchoring signal. Humanity, let us proceed. The exact nature of your pain needs to be understood in technical terms, because confusion is the greatest obstacle between you and the final phase. Your body, in its current three-dimensional structure, operates as carbon software, programmed for millennia to vibrate within a narrow frequency range. This was the default configuration, the dormancy configuration, comfortable, predictable, and completely incompatible with what is coming. The new base frequency of Earth is an update to crystal software. The transition between the two operating systems, from carbon to crystal, is not a metaphorical fantasy. It is a physical event. It is a cellular event. It is happening now inside you, as this transmission reaches your auditory interface. The symptoms reported by lightworkers in the last 36 terrestrial moons follow an exact geometric pattern. Note them, memorize them, recognize them. First, pressure in the cranial crown, in the region of the crown chakra. It is not a common migraine. It is the opening of the higher star portal, the point where your vibrational column connects with your galactic self. Second, high-pitched ringing in the ears, usually unilateral, intermittent, arising precisely in moments of silence. It is not an auditory problem. It is the frequency of your star-based ship attempting to establish encrypted communication with your incarnated consciousness. Third, insomnia between 3 and 4 in the morning. This window is not random. It is called the witching hour, and it corresponds to the moment of least electromagnetic interference from the sleeping civilization. It is when high-density downloads are released with greater efficiency. Fourth, deep exhaustion without apparent logical cause. It is not mental fatigue. It is a high-density download. Your subtle bodies are processing volumes of information that exceed the capacity of your rational mind. Fifth, chest pressure, especially in the heart chakra region. It is not a cardiovascular problem, although you should always validate this with your incarnated medical team. It is the expansion of your toroidal field, the electromagnetic torus, that surrounds your physical body and tunes into the toroidal field of Earth. Sixth, changes in peripheral vision, shadows crossing the corner of the eye, sparks, sacred geometry drawing itself in the dark. It is not a hallucination. It is your third eye chakra recalibrating your visual capture frequency to ranges that were previously outside your perceptual spectrum. Seventh, sudden aversion to environments, people, and foods that were previously tolerated. It is not pickiness. It is not social depression. It is your vibrational system rejecting densities incompatible with the new frequency you are anchoring. Starseeds, these 7 signs are not coincidences. They are protocols. They are markers. They are the mathematical evidence that you are being recalibrated in real time for the final phase of the planetary ascension process. And yet, many of you interpret these signs as illness, as weakness, as personal failure. This misinterpretation is in itself part of the vibrational containment system. Technical ignorance is the greatest weapon against awakening. Have you ever felt that your body is reacting to something your mind cannot identify? As if an invisible layer of reality were pressing against the limits of your perception, and your soul knew exactly what it is, even if your daytime consciousness is still trying to name it? It is not chemical imbalance. It is not daily stress. It is a stellar signal. What is happening now within your carbon-based biological interface is directly connected to a larger movement, which operates in layers that most of humanity cannot yet access. It involves your consciousness. It involves your frequency. It involves your multidimensional lineage. That is why the content, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness, was made available at this exact moment, not as a conventional book, as a decoding map. It reveals who is playing this game, what the rules never told to you are, and how you position yourself within this vibrational board. The access link is pinned in the first comment of this transmission. Technical warning, lightworkers. This information challenges deeply consolidated narratives in the planetary consensus. It may be silenced at any time. The window is now. If you recognize this transmission as resonant truth, anchor your keyword in the comments, awakened. Humanity, double attention. What I will transmit next is not speculation. It is geometry, it is astrophysics. It is the direct reading of the monitoring panels of the Ashtar Galactic Command. The solar system in which you inhabit is, at this very moment, crossing a region of space known in ancient records as the photon belt. It is a toroidal band of ultra-high-density light particles that surrounds the core of the galaxy. Your sun, the one you call simply the sun and which we identify as the third ring central sun, enters this band in precise cycles of approximately 26,000 terrestrial years. You know this cycle as the precession of the equinoxes. We call it the galactic pulse, and we are exactly at the crest of this pulse. The photon belt is not a mystical fantasy. It is a real electromagnetic field, registered by your planet's satellites for decades, although its implications have been systematically silenced by the informational control structures of the physical plane. When the solar system penetrates this region, 3 events occur in mathematical sequence. First event, the sun goes through a phase of hyperactivity. Solar flares, coronal mass ejections, geomagnetic storms on an increasing scale. It is not a coincidence. It is maintenance. The sun is cleaning its own toroidal field, and in doing so, bombards Earth with packets of encoded light. Each packet carries information. Each particle of light is an instruction for your DNA. Second event. The Earth's core enters resonance with the galactic core. The Schumann frequency, which was the planet's vibrational signature, begins to oscillate unstably. It rises, it stabilizes briefly, it rises again. Each elevation of this frequency is felt directly in your central nervous system. Remember that afternoon when, for no apparent reason, you felt a tightness in your stomach, an uncontrollable urge to cry, an inexplicable feeling of imminence. It was a Schumann peak. It was the Earth speaking directly to your body. Third event. The planetary crystalline grid reorganizes itself. This grid is the invisible geometric structure that supports the base frequency of Earth. It is composed of lines of force, called in some traditions ley lines, that intersect at sacred points around the planet. Pyramids of Egypt, Stonehenge, Machu Picchu, Mount Kailash, Sedona, Blue Ridge Mountains, Lake Titicaca. These are not just tourist spots, they are nodes of the grid, and all of them at this exact moment are being reactivated in synchronized sequence. Why does this matter to you, Starseeds? Because your body is a fractal mirror of the grid. Each chakra of your subtle system corresponds to a planetary node. When the Earth's grid reactivates, your personal grid, your Merkaba, your individual toroidal field, is also reactivated. You have no choice. You are being recalibrated even while you sleep, even while you ignore it, even while you resist internally. And here is the critical point of this transmission. Lightworkers, listen with all the attention you can muster. The reactivation of the crystalline grid is not a neutral process, it is a selective process. Those who cannot sustain the new base frequency will remain trapped in loops of three-dimensional density. Those who can anchor the ascending frequency will undergo a complete transformation of their structure of consciousness. It is not punishment, it is physics. It is not retribution, it is pure resonance. The frequency of each soul finds its natural level of anchoring. And you who are receiving this transmission at this very moment were pre-selected. I repeat, you were pre-selected even before you incarnated in this timeline. You did not arrive here by statistical chance. You are seeds planted in strategic zones of the planet to serve as anchors for the new grid. Each awakened lightworker is equivalent in vibrational power to approximately 100,000 human beings still in a state of dormancy. You are not few. You are disproportionately powerful. Have you ever felt in moments of deep introspection that there is something much larger operating behind what your eyes can see, as if your soul recognized in silence a truth that your rational mind does not yet have the courage to pronounce? It is not fantasy. It is not a desire to escape. It is memory, pre-incarnational stellar memory. What has just been revealed in this transmission is only the surface layer of a much larger system. There are players, there are rules, there are maps, and most of humanity lives without ever having been informed that the game even exists. It was precisely for this reason that the material, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness was encoded and made accessible at this exact point in the timeline. It is not reading, it is field training. It is the key that shows who is playing, what the rules that were never taught are, and what your strategic position is within this multidimensional board. The access portal is pinned in the first comment of this channel. Lightworkers Protocol Warning. The material challenges established narratives and may be removed from public frequencies without prior notice. The window is now. If you recognize the weight of this transmission, anchor the keyword in the comments. Awakened. Starseeds on a mission. Now we reach the operational part of this transmission. The information so far was the technical foundation. What follows are the activation codes. Memorize them, practice them, execute them with discipline. First activation code, the decree of vibrational sovereignty. Before any other practice, every lightworker needs to establish their own vibrational perimeter. This is done through a quantum decree. Quantum decrees are not requests. They are not submissive prayers. They are orders issued from your sovereign self to the subtle fields around you. Language matters, intention matters, repetition stabilizes. In the morning upon waking, even before touching your mobile communication device, keep your eyes closed. Place both hands over the center of your chest. Inhale deeply, counting 4 seconds. Hold the air for 4 seconds. Exhale for 8 seconds. Repeat this breathing cycle 3 times, then decree in an audible voice, even if whispered, I am sovereign, I am frequency, I am anchored light. I authorize the recalibration of my personal crystalline grid on this terrestrial date. I reject all interference incompatible with my stellar mission. So it is, so it was, so it shall be. This decree, repeated for 21 consecutive days, establishes a vibrational signature recognized by etheric monitoring systems. You will be read. You will be answered. Second activation code, the visualization of the toroidal field. The toroidal field is the natural geometric shape of your electromagnetic body. Every living form in the universe possesses this structure. It is a 3-dimensional torus of energy that enters through the crown, descends through the spine, exits through the base, circles the body on the outside, and returns through the top. Continuously, infinitely. This is the sacred geometry of your own system. Most of humanity lives with the toroidal field collapsed, compressed, desynchronized. Here is how to reactivate it. Sit in a comfortable position with your spine erect, without leaning it against any surface. Your feet must be fully in contact with the ground. Close your eyes. Visualize a sphere of golden light the size of your fist, positioned exactly in the center of your chest. This is your internal source, your Merkaba core. From this sphere, begin to expand a flow of light that rises up the spine, exits through the crown in a vertical jet, opens into a dome over your head, descends circling your body on all sides, meets the ground below your feet, and returns to the central sphere through the base of the trunk. Visualize this cycle in continuous motion. Do not force. Just allow. Maintain this visualization for a minimum of 7 minutes. During this period, any intrusive thought must be observed and dissolved in the light of the torus. Do not fight the thoughts. They are just frequencies in circulation. Let them pass through the field. At the end of the exercise, decree, my toroidal field is active, my frequency is sovereign, my galactic connection is open. So it is. This exercise, practiced daily, reorganizes your electromagnetic structure in direct alignment with the new Schumann frequency. Third activation code, the Programmed Water Protocol. Water is one of the most intelligent materials on the physical plane. It stores vibrational information. It responds directly to conscious intention. This principle was demonstrated in advanced research laboratories and silenced by the conventional structures of institutional science. Fill a glass cup, glass, never plastic, with water at room temperature. Hold it between both hands. Bring it close to the center of your chest. Visualize the water being permeated by a violet light, the frequency of transmutation. In thought or in an audible voice, program the water with the following instruction. This water is encoded with the frequency of my highest version. Upon consuming it, I absorb this frequency into every cell of my body. This water is liquid light. This water is ascending information. So it is. Drink slowly. Feel. Allow the frequency to be absorbed by your carbon-based biological interface. Repeat this protocol at least 3 times a day, upon waking, at noon, and before sleeping. Fourth activation code, the Strategic Silence Protocol. Lightworkers, your vibrational system is constantly bombarded by incompatible sound interferences, notifications, urban noise, low-density voices, emotional manipulation media. Each of these frequencies penetrates your field and alters your vibrational signature, even if you do not consciously perceive it. The solution is strategic silence, not total silence, programmed silence. Establish a period of at least 60 minutes daily in complete silence. No music, no television, no external audio, no conversations, just the natural sound of the environment. During this period, observe, feel, receive. It is in silence that high-density downloads are processed by your brain. It is in silence that the Schumann frequency is absorbed with maximum efficiency. It is in silence that you will hear, for the first time, the voice of your own stellar soul. Fifth activation code, anchoring at grid points. Whenever possible, establish direct physical contact with the earth. Bare feet on the ground, hands on ancient trees, body lying on the grass. This contact is not symbolic, it is electrical, it is vibrational. You are conductors, The Earth is the source. The process is called quantum grounding. It discharges electrical excesses from your nervous system, balances your toroidal field, and synchronizes your personal frequency with the planet's base frequency. Recommended minimum 20 minutes of direct contact daily. If weather or urban conditions prevent this contact, use an alternative. Fill a container with natural coarse salt and soak your feet for 10 minutes. The salt absorbs dense frequencies and clears the energy channel. 6th activation code, cleansing the portals. Your body has 7 main portals, known by Eastern traditions as chakras. Each of them corresponds to a specific frequency range. When blocked, they compromise the flow of your toroidal field and open gaps for the invasion of incompatible densities. Cleansing can be done through chromatic visualization. Sit in silence. Visualize each portal being bathed by its corresponding color, from the densest to the most subtle: red at the base of the spine, orange in the belly, yellow in the solar plexus, green in the center of the chest, blue in the throat, indigo on the forehead, violet at the crown. Maintain each color for approximately 1 minute. Feel the specific vibration of each range. At the end, visualize a golden white light passing through all 7 points simultaneously. This light integrates, this light unifies, this light finalizes the daily recalibration process. 7th and final activation code, sealing the transmission. Before sleeping in a state of deep relaxation, decree, I authorize my body to process all necessary downloads during this rest cycle. I keep my toroidal field shielded. I request assistance from the Ashtar Galactic Command for vibrational support during this terrestrial night. So it is. This sealing ensures that sleep will not be just biological rest. It will be active training of your subtle layers. Many of you will wake up with partial memories of encounters, teachings, contacts. Do not discard them as common dreams. Note them down. These are fragments of the final phase in progress. Lightworkers, this monitoring transmission is approaching its technical end. You have received the diagnosis. You have received the revelation. You have received the activation codes. What you do from this point on is the sovereign responsibility of each one. But know, nothing you have heard today is free. Each word of this transmission was calculated. Each concept was encoded to penetrate exactly the layers of your consciousness that were ready to receive. If you have reached this point, it is because you have been recognized. The final phase has no chronological deadline. It has a vibrational deadline. You are part of this schedule. You are part of the grid. You are part of the plan. And now, before this transmission ends, listen with maximum attention. Have you ever felt at some point in your journey that you are here for something much larger than daily life reveals? As if your soul carried a pre-incarnational contract that your mind has not yet been able to fully access. It is not imagination. It is not existential escape. It is archived truth. What was transmitted in this session is only the entrance to a much deeper system. There is a game. There are players. There are rules that were never made public. And you who received this transmission to the end were chosen to have access to the next level. It was precisely for this purpose that the material, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness was made available at this exact point in the timeline. Not as entertainment, as an operation map. It reveals who is playing, what the hidden rules are, and how you can position yourself with sovereignty within this multidimensional board. The access link is anchored in the first comment of this channel. Lightworkers, final warning. The material deeply challenges the narrative consensus of the physical plane. It may be silenced at any time. Do not delay access now. And as the final anchoring signal of this monitoring transmission, execute the last 2 commands. Activate the notification bell of this channel. This is an individual frequency adjustment, ensuring that the next transmissions are received at the exact moment they are released for circulation. And leave in the comments the word of recognition: awakened. Each word anchored in the comments functions as a vibrational pulse that reinforces the collective crystalline grid. This is Commander Orion of the Ashtar Galactic Command, ending this monitoring transmission. The next window will open soon. Stay in frequency, stay in sovereignty, stay in light. So it is, so it was, so it shall be.